Welcome to the Informed Minority, where we break down the market using ICT concepts. Today, we'll be breaking down the trade I took this week. If you're ready to level up your trading game, you're in the right place. Let's dive into the video. We'll be going over this trade I took on Wednesday, January 29th, the MNQ long. So here's what it looks like. The blue arrow is where I bought, and the red arrow is where I sold. As always, we like to start off with the week, looking at the economic calendar. This week, I made sure I didn't have any surprises. So every day I did check the economic calendar, and it pretty much stayed the same the entire week. This is what it looked like beforehand. This is what it looks like after, when I filter out the week to figure out what days I like to trade. So we had Monday and Tuesday. Monday I didn't really care about. Tuesday was the day before, but we'll get into that. I was not expecting a lot, but it did move. That does happen. Wednesday after FOMC at 2:30 is when I was looking to take a trade. Thursday, which is today, I would have been looking at a trade at 9:30 open. I did not take anything. And Friday, which is the last day of the month, I am not interested in looking to take trades, but those are the days and how I would have filtered out this week. So here's Tuesday. This is the macro times. I just want to show how we did actually move. We had a lot of movement that day, and I was honestly not expecting that. But I will plug in the live stream where you can see me pretty much call price from there higher, and then also gave this framework of a setup here going higher as well. So we like to start on the daily time frame. I like to flesh out what am I looking for in the trades, and can I frame areas where I would expect price to move from, as well as where it could be targeting. We are now in the upper portion of a weekly fair value gap. Again, that's where I'm looking for my setups to form on higher time frames in upper portions of that array. You go to the daily time frame. We had closed above this inverse fair value gap. Notice how we close above it and the bodies are inside. So when I go to figure out where's price action now, we were above and we were inside of this hourly fair value gap. Again, I would expect the upper portion. We're going to zoom in a little bit so we can see a little bit more. This was the area of price which I was thinking we could draw to right below this large new week opening gap. And so I expected price, and you'll see this in another slide. I want to see the upper portion be held and then us trade higher and attempt to take out this. My target was the first presented fair value gap from Wednesday, which formed at 9:31 on Wednesday. That was where my upside target was. You remember, I only look for 50 handles. So if it can trade up that high, that's exactly all I'm looking for. We also have SMT here. This was another thing that helped me frame this, that we could be looking for higher price action. Again, the hourly fair value gap is where this occurs, and we see this trade lower. This gives us an idea that we could potentially be looking for higher prices. Here's the first presented fair value gap that I like to use. This is a chart that helps me get an understanding of what could be a draw or what I could be expecting price to hold. As you see, this is the one for today, and the entry was down here, seeing a price holding above with the bodies. Presented fair value gap from Friday, January 17th, that formed at 9:45. That's the one that gave me a little bit more confidence of where we were holding the price. That's ultimately the breaker that I was looking to trade higher. As always, I like to go through my setup and my framework. This is what I do at the end of the day to help me gain an understanding and continue to show the process over and over. So when I see it live, I'm able to execute. This is the 15-minute time frame. Again, we have that hourly fair value gap. Notice, remember, we had SMT form here that we're actually not even able to trade down here, which would be a breakaway gap, which is exactly what I'd want to see because I want price to remain in the upper portion. So it shows us the signature in SMT. It is able to remain in the upper portion. Now we had this 15-minute inverse fair value gap, which also helped me see that price would potentially be wanting to trade up a little bit higher. Now we're going to go to the 2-minute chart. Normally I go to the 5-minute chart, but this framework looked better and I could able to explain it on the 2-minute chart. So we had this specific breaker block, and look where the fair value gap forms. On the 1-minute chart, we had multiple fair value gaps. So I like to go to a time frame higher that shows me just one clear fair value gap. Now we go down to the 1-minute chart. Remember, this is the breaker block. So what fair value gap do I see that overlaps the upper portion of this 2-minute breaker block? This fair value gap. That's the one that's key to me. That's the one that I'm looking for a price to ultimately end up trading to the first presented fair value gap that formed at 9:30. So when price traded down into this area, I bought and my stop loss was below here, and I was looking for 51 or 50 handles. Usually it's 52. These are the macros for the day. As you can see, we had a large consolidation for the entire day. It got better after the news, and that's why I was waiting for the news release to trade. Ultimately, I was just looking for 50 handles. Now you see, remember I told you my stop loss was down there. If I had been holding for a longer and farther target, I would have been stopped out. This is the trade setup. This is exactly what it looked like when I was taking the trade. It looked like to me, again, a market maker buy model, these clean highs, but what was above it that was a target for me was this first presented fair value gap that formed at 931. In the beginning, when I was first trading, I did see this. It told me that it's not time. I need to wait. So I ended up not taking this trade, even though it fits the framework. But again, the 15-minute fair value gap, inverse fair value gap was not traded above. And that's what told me to wait. When I started to see this price action, I could tell that price was more likely going to trade higher and not come down again. And then we had this 1-minute fair value gap there. I felt confident in taking that trade to go higher. As I always do, talk about the trading metrics. For this specific trade, I was in the trade for 4 minutes. The time I was in drawdown was roughly about 10 seconds across the 4 minutes. The amount of handles I was in drawdown was 7.75. The handles that I was able to book were 50.75, and the maximum it went was 62 handles. As I always do, I'd like to end my videos with what do I need to improve on and what did I do well. I wanted to move my TP up to just slightly below the first presented value gap, which would have been over 50 handles, and it was able to offer that. But I just needed to remind myself that I need to stay disciplined and stick to my normal 50 to 52 handles because that's what I've been doing. I don't want to change it up now because I have been able to do well. So that was something that I know I needed to work on with this trade, was not to get greedy and to continuously follow my plan. Now, what did I do? I was patient and I didn't chase price. I was ready to engage when my setup occurred. When it presented itself and I saw it and I knew what I was looking for, I took the trade. And also, I didn't let the last trade, which was a loss, affect my process. It was the same process as the other trade. I'm very proud of myself for not allowing that to affect my process because it used to, and I would make decisions based on the last trade. Thanks for tuning in to the Informed Minority. I hope you enjoyed today's breakdown. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to follow along my trading journey, let me know how you did this week. Did you do well? Did FOMC get you? I'm really interested in seeing that. I hope you had a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.